Welcome to Bad Creepypasta, where we've been thugged out since Cub Scouts. Toby can't be here today. He pissed on hospitality, and that is something we cannot allow. So we are reading MaRIo 3, the Threequel.
Yep.
And this supposedly is written by the original author of the first two, so quite excited. We'll be able to tell from the writing quite early on, I'm sure. ZZ's note. Firstly, this goes without saying, but I didn't originally create this pasta. Neither am I taking credit for writing it, or accepting blame and ridicule for it, depending on how you want to look at the situation.
He knows it so well.
We're looking at the latter, my friend. I am just passing this story on. Secondly, as the bracketed subtitle explicitly reads, this is indeed the official third entry into the MaRIo Creepypasta trilogy. I acknowledge that a handful of fan-made threequels have been made in the past, but the real thing hasn't been unearthed until this point in time. And then a bunch of credits are given for the people that found it.
Sorry, too much fizzy drink.
Alright, I'm gonna get a handful of like Doritos and shit while you get all the belching out. It's so gross.
Fizzy stuff makes me burp.
It makes me... Yeah, that's unique to you.
Yeah, I know. It's the only person in history.
It's the only person ever.
Like, you know, like these old-timey freak shows? Like, see, like, the seal boy or the bearded woman, the man who burps when he drinks with something. Oh god, it's so hideous! Oh god! Don't show the children! Turn your eyes away!
Oh no, he's gonna burp the alphabet!
You know, like in those movies when they're like, there's the mutants they're gonna try and like experiment the government wants to use as a weapon. We need to weaponize the burping.
It's like there you are trying to rush fucking Alcatraz and Magneto. It's like, no, Matt, in Chester, pawns go first.
She's got a pop Pepsi and what?
And then the thing is, because of this, whenever you have Mentos and Pepsi, your head explodes.
Oh.
It's like at the end, they've got that kid who uses his powers like, wait, oh no, he's still burping, my power's not working on him. It takes out...
No one's realised it's just perfectly normal.
It takes out, like, it's Jean Grey disintegrating and everything, and she spots me, and it's like, oh god, it's this.
So the guy who can crawl up walls and everything will rush in. Magneto's like, wait, Matt Dixon.
Do you know what? I've just came up with a really good thing where like the reason why Toby was here. Well, it wasn't here.
To be honest, we can fucking do it again if it's better.
Because he upset the Picard.
Upset the Picard. That's so fucking specific. Like one fucking episode of Next Gen. Like not for a particularly well-remembered episode. My best friend was taken to a psychiatric ward a few weeks ago. Nobody has a clue what is wrong with her. It has been really hard watching her, especially in the few months time span before.
Terrible sentence.
That doesn't...
New sentence. Her family was slowly falling apart, piece by piece. This poor girl's just ranting about a toad army. It's
On the bright side, when she comes out of the hospital, she'll have superpowers.
And the Emperor will have risen.
Yeah.
And one in every generation must fight the Toad Emperor.
No, actually, the future is actually is set, and that when this person gets killed by a Terminator, the other one will come along, because the future is inevitable.
Well, it's already a girl, so
rendering the prospect of saving the leader of the resistance ultimately pointless.
Yes.
Because no one pops up.
Ever since her father passed away, I still don't know how he died, but it was causing a wreckage in the mental states of his children. It seemed his son killed himself, and his daughter has been hospitalised. I'm assuming the daughter is the protagonist from MaRIo 2.
By the way, that is a weird thing. Is his mental states of his children, it seemed.
Yeah.
And then his son killed himself.
Yeah, I don't know. I grew up with both of them, so it has also been hard for me. It is hard to watch a family fall apart like that. I visited my friend at the ward yesterday to see if she had recovered any. To my dismay, she hadn't. She doesn't have a fucking name. Her state of mind was only... declining. She kept talking about these games, these ... MaRIo games. Her father gave them to her brother, and her brother gave them to her. I was never much of a, and then inverted commas, gamer myself, but they loved to play all of the old school games, especially the three MaRIo brothers. Ha, pardon me, I got off track, ellipses.
Wait, the three Mario brothers? Is there a third Mario brother?
I get what they mean. I mean,
the
three
Mario
Mario Brothers games, but it's worded strangely.
Mario, Luigi Mario.
And Green Mario.
Yeah.
Yeah, so there are three. Anyways, when I walked into her room,
Any hoozle.
a smile came across her face. That was good to see, I guess, but it was the only happy moment of the short visit.
Oh, it's you!
Please no,
Kidding. Oh, it's you.
she said as I walked.
Just wanted to drop by and check on you.
I told her.
There's nothing for you to check on.
She said.
I'm fine. I just need you to go and finish it.
This is also formatted really badly. There's no indication of who's speaking,
Yes.
so there's a lot of guesswork involved. Again, just new line. Simple as that.
Finish? ... Finish what?
I asked, a bit confused.
You sound like...
Super Mario Brothers 3. I finished 2. Now you go see what's on 3 so I can finally find out what is happening to me.
I feel like that's very non-specific. Like, if he just picks up a copy of Super Mario Brothers 3, I assume there's not going to be any like headless Marios or anything like that. It's just going to be fine.
Birdo.
It just comes back as like, yeah, it's fine. Like, what were you expecting? Like,
So
oh,
I played it. It was pretty good. I looked into it some more. Some utter doofus wrote a book about it, but well, I didn't want to argue. I had thought she was simply just
retarded.
losing her mind. This guy hasn't stopped abusing ellipses. This brought tears to my eyes, but I was going to do what she asked. I wasn't going to lie and told her I played it and nothing happened, or tell her no. I was gonna go play the game and come back and tell her what happened. After exchanging a few more words, I left for her apartment. When I arrived there, you could definitely tell that the place had been poorly kept. There were pieces of paper everywhere, game controllers strolled out in chaos.
Just walking around.
Yeah, just like, he opened the door, and then the game controllers just were like, fuck this. And they all just like stormed out of the building.
I was thinking it's like a Beauty and the Beast sort of curse that she's just not paying attention to. Did I not mention my friend's actually a giant, hairy, like, beast person?
Could you imagine if, like, the whole of MaRIo 2, the protagonist had been talking about this Toad Empire and stuff, but what was it? They were living in a fucking enchanted apartment and just never brought it up.
Yeah.
It's like, you know, the whole singing and dancing, like, stuff that you, like, have around your house gets really old quickly. You just like, drown it out.
I feel like the author means strewn.
Probably.
I think it probably was strewn.
And the TV had been left on and was on static. I looked at all the pieces of paper on the ground. I found one that read, MaRIo, at least 100 times. Oh, it's like a tweet. Can I just take a moment? Like, I hate people who tweet like that. When you write a statement in all capitals and then just copy and paste it to the character limit.
It's like, it's not a mantra.
It also doesn't make it true,
No.
either. You hear them say things like, the sky is green.
The sky is green, clap, clap.
Yeah, but they don't even have to put the claps in, just the same statement over and over again. It's pointless. It makes you sound like an idiot. Stop doing it. It couldn't have been any less than 100. Other pieces were scribbled on and I could hardly read them, and I did not want a headache trying. I sat down and checked out the NES that was laying on the floor. Super Mario Bros. 3 was already in, which for some reason read Super Mario Bros. 3. Of fucking course it did. On the label.
What has made the R and I so important to be capitalised?
Because it's crudely written.
It's never explained, really, is it? We're in part 3 now of this story, and what I hope will be the thrilling conclusion. But at no point have they ever gone. The reason, like, are we just dumb? Did we just miss where the significance of the R and the I being capitalised came in?
To be fair, I
It
can
means
barely
real
remember the
idiots,
first
which
two.
explains the author.
No, the real idiots are us for reading this garbage.
I can like I said, I can barely remember. Like, there's the Toad Empire in the second one. I can't remember anything about the first one.
Were you even in the second one, Matt?
I can't even fucking remember. I think I was, maybe.
I guess she was already about to play it before she was taken in. I pressed the power button to play a few levels before I headed back to the ward and gave her whatever news she wanted to hear. However, there was something wrong with the game. There was no
there was.
title screen, and I didn't get an overworld. Yeah, but how fucking interesting would the story be if there wasn't? You said,
How
oh,
fucking-
like, you sit there like, oh, of course there was something wrong with it. Yes, a haunted game story.
Of course there's something wrong with it. Every single time there's a gaming
Like a
past.
redundant statement. I turned the game on and something was wrong. Oh well, I mean,
It's not actually a creepypasta. It's just an account of a Let's Play that went perfectly fine.
yeah.
To be honest.
I turned the game on and decided I was going to do a no death run. I'd done one only once before.
To be honest, if considering like the person in the in it is like completely insane, it would be like funny if the guy was expecting really shitty things to happen and actually it didn't, and they're like, "Oh, really? She's really gone."
It's like confirmed.
Yeah, so she's really gone.
That's just a really sad story you've proposed. Like the conclusion to the MaRIo trilogy, this like surreal accidental comedy, is that in actuality they were all mentally ill except this guy because he's not a member of that family.
Yes.
And he's like, "There's nothing wrong. You're all crazy," and that's it. And the whole family just dies out.
Lobotomized.
Yeah. There was no title screen, and I didn't get an overworld map. I was simply placed in a level with... I was simply placed in a level... with a few things that were definitely off. MaRIo didn't have his head.
Oh, God.
Yes. It was instead Birdo's head... Why was that?
I don't know.
I has assumed... It's written by one of those like internet cats from like 2009.
Yeah.
I has assumed that he had cheeseburger.
Yeah, Mario's head replaced with a cheeseburger.
You want anything from McMushrooms? Fucking bees chugger.
Instead of it'll be the dough will rise. Because it's bread.
Yeah. It's just the Doge. The Doge Empire. Oh no, Joker in MaRIo 3, what will he do?
Does that mean Mario's going to go on an incel killing spree?
Oh my god, that's why I figured out why it's written as MaRIo! So, Joker is in MaRIo 3, what will he do, right? And he's like, how about another joke, MaRIo? That's the ending, I'm calling it now.
Alright.
MaRIo is gonna get fucking vibe checked.
Well, that was a good reading. Thanks for listening. Shorter than our usual ones, but short and sweet.
I has assumed that they had hacked it or whatever. The sky was red, wrong red, and I was greeted...
Wait.
This guy was Reed.
Yeah, and I was greeted with a text that said, "Once one of us, and always one of us. We warned you that..." Oh, I've just realised the wrong voice. "Once one of us, MaRIo, and always one of us. We warned you that you would rue this MaRIo, and your final step is about to be taken. The Empire will rise."
It's still ridiculous as ever.
Yeah, I mean, why not? Why not fucking double down on the worst aspect of your previous story?
Yep.
Just Ryan Johnson, right?
It's like, your Snoke theory sucks. So does yours. You just like yours was official.
Ryan Johnson looks like a Lego person.
This shook me up a little. I was an enormous coward. What a... ... grim message. It's not like grim, is it? It's just odd.
It's like, yeah, like, the Empire will rise. Like, what?
Surely a grim message is like, we will, take everything you love or something. It's just like, or something violent. Like, what Empire? Was I playing Star Wars or MaRIo?
What the hell? Is it
This is written by fucking Chris Bores. It's like terrible little asides. Like,
is this Star Wars or MaRIo or a test of patience?
it's just, you can picture an irate gamer video where he's like playing like a ROM hack. It's like, the Empire will rise. Empire? I thought I was playing Mario, not Star Wars. And why was MaRIo's name spelled like that? I pressed A and moved on. Thrilling. There wasn't much in this level. All I had to do was move forward. Didn't have to jump or fight any enemies, just held down the button to keep MaRIo moving forward, until I reached the end and grabbed the card to finish the level.
Until I got bored and turned the game off.
Yeah.
I got a mushroom, which is the lowest of the 3 cards you could get out of the fire flower and the star. Great, wonderful sentence, definitely doesn't need any work. Mm-hmm. Expecting to jump onto an overworld map, I was thrown into another level.
Oh, Lord.
There's a fucking exclamation mark after that, like it's really dramatic as well. The same thing as before. Another exclamation mark. I even got a mushroom card at the end, like before. These are all like really dramatic sentences, apparently. This a third time, and it was beginning to bore me.
Oh,
Bores
you're not the
you.
only one there.
It was beginning to bores you.
Chris, but
I think you made that joke, and awful as it was, you felt the need to repeat it.
Yeah.
No, I stuttered.
I didn't know how my friend was going to take what I was going to tell her, because I was about to turn the NES off. ... before something happened. The screen froze for a few seconds on the 3 cards I had gotten, which were all mushrooms. Then the screen went to black. After a few seconds of black screen, I was greeted with an enlarged MaRIo sprite.
Large.
Just enlarged.
Like engorged MaRIo sprites.
It just sounds like,
Inflated
it
MaRIo.
just sounds like weirdly sexual. Just like, with an enlarged. Who still had Birdo's head.
I know he's trying to make it scary, but it's like...
Every time we had this problem way back in story number 1, and they haven't learned from it. This image of MaRIo with like another cutesy character's head on his body is so unthreatening.
Yeah.
Because I'm sure in the second story he puts Toad's head on at one point as well. And it's,
Yeah,
on
there's a
top of the
picture.
other one, so
Yeah.
he's got a hat on top of...
And then there's a picture.
well, yeah, there's a picture of through the whole video due to, I
Yeah.
assume, a rendering error on James's part. There's just nothing but that the whole time.
Yeah.
The 3 cards from before came back onto the screen, and MaRIo held them in his hand. He stared at them with a look of terror. Full stop. Fear, comma, sadness, full stop.
Yeah, so that... I just wanted to correct you, Jacob. It was a look of ... terror.
Then fear, sadness.
MaRIo turned towards the screen, and the screen flashed. It did so continuously, until it stopped. That's how things work! You fucking imbecile! Stopped with a picture of MaRIo with his new head. It was one of the Toad's heads, and one of the cards in his hand was now blank.
Oh Lord.
The screen immediately switched to a new picture. 4 Toads, one bigger than the rest. To the right of them was a tree with 2 bodies hanging from it by a rope around their necks.
Yes, the actual definition of hanging.
You don't know, it could have been a wire, it could have been a wire.
New text appeared.
And now what we began shall finish. He told us he would give us his children if he could become one of us. May the last step be taken. Come forth, MaRIo.
Right, so a man sold his children.
Oh no!
He sacrifices his children's souls so he can become a toad.
Is that what's happening?
I don't know, maybe.
MaRIo, still with a Toad's head, came in from the right of the screen. He pulled out the 2 cards from earlier that still had mushrooms on them. Just N-word passes. Gave them... And this is when he's going to become... This is when Toad is going to become Joker. And explain why he's called MaRIo. He pulled out the 2 cards from earlier that still had mushrooms on them. And he walked over. And he walked over the bodies hanging from the tree.
The bodies.
That old sound that plays when you grab a mushroom or fireflower played, and the cards turned into toads.
No.
Oh, it's another text.
We will be slaves instead. Just please don't.
MaRIo.
Another text read, MaRIo then proceeded to crack the necks of the toads. He then ripped their heads off and forced them onto the heads of the bodies hanging from the tree. Why does he do this?
Fetish.
Why is this like a recurring thing in every story? The bodies jumped down, suddenly alive. Then I saw a new body fading in, ... This one looked like a girl. In fact, it looked very familiar. The largest toad then ripped his own head off and threw it to MaRIo. MaRIo, just like before with the other 2, forced the toad's head onto the girl's head. All I could think as I watched was,
Is it even possible to do a hack like this?
my phone began to ring.
Only if you're part of the Illuminati.
I looked at the number. It was the ward that my friend was staying at. They informed me that My friend, is this written by fucking Stevie? Had just taken her own life. I threw my phone at the wall, angry and afraid. I looked at the screen
I got some
and
good news and bad news for you.
they were all staring at me.
The good news is you don't need to come round anymore. The bad news that your friend's dead.
Your friend removed her own head and stuck a toadstool on.
Sorry, Mitch.
Like every sprite, their eyes.
Every sprite, their eyes were following me. A new text popped up. The Empire has now been created. It would be a shame if you didn't. It's turning into Christopher Walken.
Would be shame.
It would be a shame if you didn't join us. I'm concerned. This might be cancer.
I need more cowbell. Crazy.
So, was it what non-peace? Just like the start, the attack. It's like, I'm concerned this might be a tumor.
Oh, that guy said it. You know that guy works in the nuclear power plant?
Really?
Yeah.
It's just Homer. At that moment, I received a text message from a number that I had not saved in my phone. The text read, I asked them to take my children. They should both be dead now. I know for sure. I've done what they wanted, and now they want more. I told them that I would oblige them with one more. Don't you want to be happy? ... forever. I threw my phone back to where I threw it before.
Is this the same person that did that stupid thing where it's like, and the sky turned a dark red, much darker than before? That seems to be his favourite thing.
Back to where I threw it before.
I love the imagery of like, my friend's dead, and like,
like-
ring. Hello?
So what are you doing? That's my throwing spot. All right, when I'm upset, that's where I throw. It's just like somebody with OCD. It's like, should you not be in the ward with your friend?
Straight ahead.
I looked at the screen again, and oh God, I will never forget it. I still see it. That angry, soul-piercing stare of that toad. The screen flickered furiously, and I heard merciless screams and chants. All of them chanting.
The Empire has risen! The Empire! The Empire! MaRIo has fallen! The Empire!
The chants faded out, and all I heard was screaming. I furiously ran out the door and ran to my car. I was going to go back to the ward to give one last goodbye to my friend.
Oh, Lord.
When I arrived and walked in, everything began to fall apart. I walked to the front desk.
Hey, I know she just passed away, but could I go to my friend's room and see her?
What are you talking about? Nobody has died today. What the hell are you doing out here?
The desk clerk asked.
What do you mean?
After I asked this, two big men in scrubs grabbed my arms and began to drag me away. I was screaming and wondering what was going on. There's a lot of that going around. I had never been so scared in my life. They took me to a room, undressed me, and put me in a hospital robes that all the patients were. Right, I'm just going to read that again. They took me to a room, undressed me, and put me in a hospital robes that all the patients wear. It's wear, WHERE. A nurse walked in.
Thank you, gentlemen. I don't know what's gotten into her recently.
What? ... What was she talking about?
Ma'am, what's going on?
Shush. Play with your cards.
For some, where it says shush and the exclamation mark, I read that as sushi in my mind. And play, for some reason, I think I'm going mad from reading this because I literally looked over and what you read it correctly, but what I saw on the page in front of me was sushi party.
Just sit in the corner and have a sushi party. Yeah, sushi party, party.
Ma'am, what's going on? Sushi party with your cards.
She said she handed me 3 cards, ... with a mushroom on each one. Excuse me? What the fuck? When you write something that's just outlandishly bizarre, and you think it makes you clever when you're, when you're 14 years old and you're writing, you're like, yeah. Well, what would be really great is if all the stuff I set up actually is completely recontextualized in a way that makes no fucking sense.
I fell to the ground and wailed violently.
This isn't happening!
I screamed. I screamed this many times before the two men came back in, placed me on the bed and held me down until I stopped screaming. That night I had dreams of armies of toads marching towards
Never stops being retarded.
with MaRIo leading the charge. I write...
Just because you're in a mental institution and everything, just MaRIo with a toad head waking him up, just like,
you've got to get out of here and protect our son! He's too important!
I'll name him Hamilton. I write this while lying on my bed here in the ward. Is this what my friend went through? Was she fine the whole time, but everyone saw her as a patient? Maybe her state of mind was fine the whole time and we just kept seeing her as crazy.
Also, what the fuck is going on? Like, you don't just get on with your life and then suddenly she's like, oh, was she fine the whole time? Everyone saw her as a patient. That's not how that works. Don't just wander into a fucking mental hospital as a visitor and then go, all right, I'm back to your room. Then no, I'm not institutionalized here. We have no records to check, and you look a bit crazy. So, and that doctor seems to know who you are. I'm going to put two and two together here, and
just come in here. We accept all. We're like a church for crazy people who we lock up.
Thoughts of that text message I received still rang in my head. Was I going to be in this empire too? No, that would happen.
No, because it's fucking stupid.
Maybe I'm not actually writing this. Maybe I will wake up soon.
Wake me up!
Everything will be alright.
Wow. I mean,
that was horrendous.
That's really bad. There's no comments, unfortunately, so that, I think, is the worst one. It's not as funny as MaRIo 2, because MaRIo 2 goes completely out there and fucking introduces the Toad Empire and stuff. This one doesn't really do anything new.
No, it sort of does the same thing.
But it tries to have a sort of twist, but the twist makes no sense.
Yep.
And just raises questions that will never be answered, because I don't believe there's going to be any more sequels.
And you don't want the answers to be,
No, I mean, the answers will probably just infuriate me more.
Right, so what I can tell is, their dad sold his children to the Toad Empire so he can become part of it, and then they took another person. They used their magic toad powers to alter reality. So this person, it's really bad and dumb.
I'm kind of disappointed in it as well, because it's not like I went in expecting it to be good, obviously.
No,
but
you were hoping it to be horrendously stupid, and it is quite stupid at some points. Funny,
it is, but there's
not enough.
There's no story. There's nothing to work with. There's so little to actually make fun of. It's just, it's a bad...
My friend had video game, and I played video game, and video game was evil and cursed, and then I was the crazy ones.
Yeah, there's so little to this story. And it honestly fizzles out. Like, this is really the end of a trilogy somebody wrote. It feels like this story had...
It's not worth the paper that it wasn't written on.
It feels like this one of the trilogy had the least amount of effort put into it. And there's so little to work with comedically here. And it genuinely, I feel kind of deflated.
It's disappointing, rushed, but peters out, sort of like, doesn't really end how you'd expect it, so it's just like Game of Thrones.
Thanks very much for watching. And an extra special thanks to our patrons whose names are on the screen right now. If it wasn't for these guys, our show would not be on the air. So it's entirely their fault and not ours. If you've enjoyed this video and would like to see more like it, feel free to subscribe. Here on the screen there are some other videos you can click. I imagine you already know this because you've probably seen a YouTube video before. But if you haven't, that's how it works. There's also a comment section. Please remember that all the mean things we say on this show are intended as jokes, so don't go and harass anyone. Thanks very much for tuning in, and we hope to see you next time.